January 1st, 1808, breaking chains. The United States enacted the act prohibiting importation of slaves, marking a pivotal moment in American history. This legislation, signed by President Thomas Jefferson on March 2, 1807, made it illegal to import enslaved individuals into the country. The U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1788, included a clause preventing Congress from banning the importation of slaves before 1808. As this deadline approached, President Jefferson, in his 1806 annual message to Congress, urged lawmakers to prohibit the international slave trade. Responding to this call, Congress passed the act in early 1807, setting its enforcement date as January 1, 1808. The act's implementation had significant implications for the nation's socio-economic landscape. While it curtailed the transatlantic slave trade, it did not address the domestic institution of slavery. Consequently, the internal slave trade within the United States intensified, particularly between the Upper South and the expanding cotton plantations of the Deep South. Enforcement of the act proved challenging. Smuggling persisted, especially through Spanish Florida and the Gulf Coast, with an estimated 1,000 enslaved individuals illegally brought into the U.S. annually after 1808. Despite these violations, the act represented a formal commitment by the U.S. government to end its participation in the international slave trade, aligning with similar movements in Europe, such as Britain's abolition of the slave trade in 1807. In summary, the 1808 ban on the importation of enslaved people was a landmark decision that signaled a shift in American policy. Although it did not end slavery within the nation, it curtailed the influx of enslaved individuals from abroad and set the stage for future abolitionist efforts. This legislative action underscored the growing recognition of the inhumanity of the slave trade and laid the groundwork for the eventual abolition of slavery in the United States. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history